Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species of all descriptions, welcome to Geek Syndicate episode 283. What are we doing? I'll tell you what we're doing. We're bringing the sass back to geekdom. I am Mont, and with me is...
Breathe. Just breathe. Now tell me what you see. By your silence, I'm guessing you haven't seen the Last Jedi trailer.
No, do you know what I was thinking? I was just going, yeah, I know this one.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I know it.
It's something.
Wow.
I
Somebody take this
have
geek's
seen
license away from him, man. And you've seen it as well.
I have seen it.
That's even worse, man.
I just got a bad memory, man. That's all.
Clearly. Damn.
Yeah. At least I remember what I've seen. It's like I'll be watching something with Siobhan and she says, wow, this is incredible. And then she gets to the end and goes, oh, I've seen this. I'm like, okay. So, I have seen the trailer for the last, what's it called?
The Last Jedi, Dave.
Jedi, yeah.
So, before we get into the usual kind of like hullabaloo of geek stuff, what did you think of this trailer?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yeah?
I think it's a good trailer. I've got nothing else to say. Unless we're talking about that, I've got nothing because that's all I can think about. That's all I can think about.
Where's Finn?
Where's Finn? I was like, okay, man's still unconscious, and he ain't even on the poster. My boy ain't even on the poster. Yeah, I mean, the original Star Wars film was mainly Luke's story, but even that poster had everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, no, to be fair, though, when you had the Return of the Jedi poster, the first poster, that just had a lightsaber with two hands holding it.
Yeah, but I didn't have anybody.
Yeah, but I mean...
That was just...
No, but it was two hands.
Yeah.
It was fairly obvious that was going to be Luke. I mean, come on. I'll give it the benefit of that. It's a teaser poster. So, I'm assuming we're going to get another poster later on. I thought it was a cracking poster. Do you know what I mean?
It was a great, but no, graphically, it was amazing.
I'm sure we'll see Finn. Do you know what I mean? I think this is my thing. I thought with the trailer, which I think is quite interesting actually, is looking at loads of the comments. A lot of people like the trailer. A lot of people love the trailer, but there was a lot of people that were kind of like, yeah, didn't when that first Force Awakens trailer came out, it took me back to being 8 years old and blah 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 blah. But this one's kind of like, yeah, it's not. It's a bit of a nothing trailer, isn't it? This is me paraphrasing some of the stuff that I've seen, and it's weird.
A teaser.
Yeah, but it's weird though because I kind of see what everyone's saying because I've watched the trailer like a number of times, and I think as a teaser trailer, I think it's pretty cracking. But I think the problem is that before Force Awakens, we had no idea what it was going to be like. We had no idea what this attempt to bring Star Wars back was going to be like. We didn't have Rogue One, do you know what I mean? Or Force Awakens. We just had this trailer. And I think they did such a great job in that first trailer of capturing the spirit of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And giving you that hope that this was actually going to be, they'd finally sorted out their shit and this was going to be something worth watching. And I think because... I mean, I really enjoyed Force Awakens and I loved Rogue One. So I think watching this trailer, I didn't go in with that same level of, is this going to be any good? I'm not sure. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was almost like that bit of it was taken away from me. I didn't have that worry in my head. So in many ways, I just viewed it as a normal teaser trailer. So I was like, hey, it was a good trailer. Looking forward to that. And that was kind of it. I didn't lose my shit like I did when I saw the Force Awakens trailer.
No.
Although to be fair, that little opening dialogue with from Luke, I was all over that. You know I love I love a training scene once. So from that perspective, and the fact that Luke's going to be training there, that has got me
No,
excited
I saw
about the
that, and
film.
I saw that. I thought of you.
Yeah, that's got me excited. And I think as well, just the idea of who would have thought that when me and you saw Star Wars like in the cinema, that we would be going to see that same character, Luke, now effectively filling the Yoda / Obi-Wan role. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
So I think, and Leia and Leia kind of front and center in the kind of general seat as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. But like I said, it was interesting. The marketing, I think, is not the marketing. Yeah, I think it's interesting watching it after seeing the other two Star Wars films.
In my mind, I just thought teaser trailer, that was cool, done. Because and that's probably the last trailer I'm going to see until I see the movie. It didn't give me anything away, and I don't want to know any more than what I saw. You know what I mean?
No, I'm kind of with you. I'm gonna try really. It's so hard. It's so hard, especially when we run, a website and a podcast and YouTube and whatever, to steer clear of these things. But I'm going to try very hard to not watch any more trailers for it. I said that for Force Awakens and then watch the next one, but we'll see.
Yeah, and you come on here and go, Mons, have you seen it? Oh my word! And I'm like,
yeah,
you just make it hard for me.
I know, but there's that
pain.
There's that other part of me that kind of feels like, because of what we do, that I feel like I kind of need to watch some of these things so I can come back and talk about it, so people can.
Yeah.
I can save people and I can sort of talk about it, and they can go, actually, that sounds really cool. I don't need to go and watch it now. I don't need to go and see that trailer because Barry's hyped up for it, so hopefully I enjoy it. You know what I mean? I'm all about taking a hit for the team.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
That's me, man. Right.
Yeah.
So we crack on with what we're here for.
Well, let me start talking some comics just to begin with.
Yes, comics.
So, as I said last week, I've just been catching up on Marvel stuff, and so I read 3 comics this week, three trades this week. Silver Surfer. Okay. And these ones are all the first ones that have happened after the last event, which was I don't know.
That Civil War 2.
No, was it Civil War 2? No, it was the one that was the one where the worlds got remade, and then it led into Civil War 2.
Right.
Well, basically, I'm reading them all, and I've read Captain Marvel, which has been great. It's A-Force. She's part of A-Force. Maybe it's just A-Force. No, it's not. Oh my word! There's so many. There's A-Force, which has got Captain Marvel in it, which is it's a female team. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, it's kind of cancelled, which is a shame because I really, really loved the combination of characters and the way they work together. And then there was Captain Marvel, where she's like the head of Alpha Flight up in space.
Right.
Basically S.H.I.E.L.D. in space, just protecting the Earth's atmosphere. Fantastic storyline. Didn't even need to be Marvel, really. It could have been just an independent sci-fi comic.
Okay.
I loved it that much. Silver Surfer, which is great because it's really, really kooky. Yeah, it's kind of out there, out of the box storytelling, and it's crazy and funny, and I just love it. And the art is, Mike Allred and his wife Laura Allred, fantastic. And then I was reading Spider-Man, which is the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and it's just Spider-Man doesn't really interest me, but this one I just find fresh and I like the approach, and I really enjoyed it. Now the reason basically I'm saying all of those I found worth reading. Mm-hmm. But the reason I've mentioned them all quite quickly is because at some point I had exactly the same reaction in every single one of those trades. It's when I got to the end and it said next Civil War 2, and I just felt myself go, oh, God. Because what happens is you're going to take characters I love and storytelling I love, and you're just going to interrupt it to shoehorn in what else is happening around the Marvel world. And I'm just like, that's not why I started reading this comic.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, okay.
And I suppose sometimes the problem is that what you could do is get to the end of that first trade or whatever trade it is you're reading, and then I must sort of go, right, well, I'm going to take a break now and come back after that event is done. But the problem is that a lot of times the whole point of a lot of these events are the ramifications will last forever. Well, they won't until the next event. And then you've then got to pick up whatever status quo those characters are now in.
Yeah.
Which then changes your storylines and where they are and sometimes their personalities and whatever. And you lose that sort of consistency a little bit then, don't you?
Yeah. And then I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to get through this just in time to pick up the next event, Secret Empire. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, I'm enjoying Marvel. If anything's going to kill it for me, it's this constant event stuff. And I know I've had this rant before, but it's just like, I hadn't read any Marvel for months. And I picked it up and went, hey, this isn't bad. And this stuff is actually quite, it's quite out there. It's interesting. It's not the run-of-the-mill superhero storylines going on. And then you've put me right back into it. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I really hope they don't do that with Black Widow. I hope they just keep the Black Widow comic out on its own.
I was going to say, that hasn't been cancelled, has it? Is it still going?
I think it's still going.
Okay. But this is what we talked about sort of last week with, which is why I'm quite enjoying Marvel flicks. And I know it's not called Marvel flicks, but as I said last week, that's what I'm calling it.
That's a great name.
Yeah. And because it's given me the chance to sort of try out titles and characters I wouldn't have normally tried out, and I think there's a wider conversation to be had about this idea of subscription comics. Because it's maybe now think about because Comixology do it, don't they?
Yeah.
But it's kind of limited at the moment with what they're doing. I think it's called Comixology Unlimited, which seems weird because it's not unlimited.
Yeah.
It's unlimited so long as you only get these ring-fence comics. And what I would love, and I don't know if the financial model could sustain it, but what I would love is I pay a fixed amount each month and I just have access to all Comixology done. Like Netflix.
Hear that?
That for me would be, because it's giving me that sort of freedom to just go, I'm going to give that a go. Because I raged on about how much I loved Black Widow last episode, but I would never have tried Black Widow had I not signed up for that Marvel flicks.
Yep.
On the flip side of it, I have started Civil War 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be finishing Civil War 2. We'll see how we go. Because I read the first issue, and it just, and maybe there's a lot of build up to where they got to, but it just felt like I just felt like I was being marketed to, as opposed to being.
Do you know what? I think you could get halfway and just skip to the last issue, because I feel like there's a couple of issues in the middle there that are just kind of rinse and repeat of the storyline.
Right.
Argue. Fight. Someone gets injured. How could you see what happened? Because you've done this. You two are so alike. You must stop it now. But I'm with you. Whatever you do. And I'm with you. Whatever it's like, okay. Rinse and repeat.
Was that and
it's to be honest, it's not even terrible. It's just like we've been there before.
Yeah, and I think the stakes in the first Civil War felt higher. Well, not higher, felt more personal. Whereas the stakes here feel more contrived and a bit forced. And I just felt with Civil War, the main reason why I kept coming down on Cap's side was because I thought Iron Man was being a dick. So I kind of went towards Captain America's side anyway, and it's Captain America, isn't it? Whereas with the Civil War 2, I just think you're both being arses. So, do you know what I mean? I don't necessarily care who comes out on top. because I don't know, Yes, whilst we're on the comics tip, I want to say I talked about this last week. I was going to look into it, but I've read the first issue of Flash Gordon Zeitgeist,
Okay, yeah.
which is from Dynamite, who, as I said last week, they seem to be the home of pulp adventure at the moment. And I have to say, I really enjoyed it. My only issue, which might mean I might struggle to get through it, is the art didn't really work for me, and I can't really tell you why. It's almost like there was too much going on with it, with the colours, and it's just, I don't know. Because in one respect, you could look at it and say that the art is fantastic, but I don't know. I just think for me there was just too much going on sometimes, so it wasn't always good at conveying some of the action in it. However, what they've done right is they've set Flash Gordon in 1934.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Let's keep that pop sensibility alive.
It feels like a mix of the Larry Buster Crabbe Flash Gordon, the old Republic serial film, if you remember that back in the day, way back in the day. And the 1980s Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Right down to the conversation that Ming has with like a kind of Clytus-like character at the beginning about him being bored and whatever. I'm like, hang on a minute, this is 1980s Flash Gordon.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So it's you know what I mean. So it's quite interesting. There's a couple of interesting and the way the first issue ends as well. I was like, oh, okay, that's going to make things quite interesting. So there's going to be stuff going on Mongo and on Earth by the look of it. So, yeah, and anything that starts off with the year is 1934, a time of two-fisted swashbuckling, of fearsome threats and wild adventure, and of ever-growing threats on the horizon. I mean, it's just throw my money at the screen, do you know what I mean?
Two-fisted. I mean, they got the word two-fisted in there, your soul.
You put two-fisted swashbuckling, I'm like, boy, look, just take it. Here's my wallet. No, it's fine. You keep it. Keep that. Do you know what I mean? But it's written by Eric Troutman, arts by Daniel Idro, letters are by Simon Boland, colours by Slamit Mugino. I've said that wrong. So I want to say Slamit Mugino, really? But that's not how the name's spelled. So, there we go. So yeah, so if you love pulp stuff, I keep saying this, man, check out what Dynamite's putting out. Dynamite.
Nice. Dynamite. I was gonna talk TV, but literally the only thing I've watched since we last spoke has been Lethal Weapon.
Oh, man.
Sat there. What should we watch? A bit tired tonight. Haven't got much in me. Lethal Weapon. Okay. I know I'm basically repeating what I said last week, but I'm just loving it. I literally got nothing else to talk about. Anything else. Oh, no, that's not true. So I watched an episode of Arrow.
All right.
And it's the episode where they kind of look at Wild Dog's origin.
Oh, yeah.
And there were elements of that episode that were really kind of moving and touching and all the rest of it. But then it was like every now and again they're just stopping to have a debate about the American Constitution.
Oh, that was a gun one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was badly put together.
It was so clumsy.
Yeah, it was.
Even for CW.
Yeah, it was. I thought the idea behind it and the fact that the villain in inverted, in speech marks, was just an ordinary bloke, and it kind of got into the whole sort of fatal shootings thing and all the rest of it. I thought was a really interesting idea for a show like Arrow to do, especially given the fact that we're running around with guns and taking people out left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite an interesting thing to do, but I think the problem was, like you said, with doing episodes like that, it's a real fine line between debate and just preaching to people, and it just kept really crossing that line. I was just going to say there were literally parts of it where it felt like the end of those old He-Man cartoons or Tarzan cartoons, where you almost waited for Mr. Terrific to turn around and go, "Hey kids, you might think using guns are cool, but I'm here to tell you that using guns is bad. If you want to learn how to use guns properly, go down to your local firearms range and learn how to shoot properly. Stay in school, kids." Do you know what I mean?
My favourite bit was like Felicity's going, "Look, let's not talk about this. This debate it's not helping." He goes, "No, I disagree. Once upon a time in this country, we could give our opinion and debate, and it would be respected. And now it just can't. It just feels too political." And I'm like, when could you ever give your opinion and have it respected? For a start, and without debate becoming whatever. And also, it was suddenly like, let's have a debate about debating. And it was just like, I was like, and at the end of it, Oliver as mayor comes up with a plan with a counselling. It's a plan that respects people's rights and freedom and protects people. You're like, what was it? I noticed you haven't mentioned what that was.
But I think the difficulty was, and the thing is, you know what I mean? Bravo for giving it a shot. Do you know what I mean? And there's some, like you said, we're dissing it, but there was some good stuff that came out of that episode. There were some good things and some good. It was just a bit mishandled. But my problem is after all of that sort of debating and stuff, next week you're back to like shooting people down. It's just like...
I think, but I mean, I'm finding CW writing a bit clumsy at the best of time because I'm finding they don't trust their audience. Mm-hmm. So like there was an episode with, don't get me wrong, and I'm still, I'm still watching every episode that comes out.
It's a good
of all of them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was a bit on Supergirl where she was on a planet where she'd lost her powers.
Oh yeah,
and she just didn't give up on people, regardless of the fact that she had nothing to back herself up with. She didn't give up on people, and she put herself on the line regardless. There's a bit where she rescues this young girl, and the girl goes, "Thanks, Supergirl. You never gave up on us, even though you didn't have your back." And that was the point of the whole episode. We know. You don't have to tell us again. We were there. We just saw it. Come on, writers, trust the audience a little bit, just a little bit. All she had to do was go, "Thank you, Supergirl." And we know why she's saying that because we just watched the episode. We're not going to forget between the ads. I was just like, I mean, I literally hung my head in despair because I went, do you know what I mean? I'm loving all this CW stuff, even though some bits of it is blatantly, absolutely ridiculous. I'm still loving it. But there comes a point when I'm going, come on, writers, or whoever's controlling the writers.
Also,
just come on.
Also, whilst we're on the Supergirl tip, I have to say I'm really enjoying Supergirl. Really enjoying this series. I've got a little rant coming about all of them in general, but anyway. But my thing is, so you've seen the what's his name? The brother. I can't think what he's. Guardian. Right. So Guardian's come into it now, right? Have you seen? I'm trying to think of where you are, so I don't want to spoil it. But have you seen where she's found out who he is?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And then she has a go at him.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm kind of like, hold up a minute. And okay, granted, there's an element of you've got to remember stuff. But so her argument is he shouldn't be out there doing stuff because he could get hurt and he could get killed where she's invulnerable. Right? I'm like, okay, I get that. But your sister's out there.
Yeah.
She ain't got no. Okay, granted, she's got martial arts skills and she's got some guns and shit, but she ain't got no big ass shield. And she ain't got no armor.
My boy's got a shield.
My boy's got a shield. He's got armor.
My boy's just but he's just got out there with some black belt judo. Apparently, I'm like, what?
Yeah. No, the whole thing is as well, Mots, right? The other thing as well is there was an episode in the first season where she lost her powers, right? And she confronted a man with a gun and took that man down, even though at any point that man could have let off that gun and she would have been dead.
No, I have to say she was behaving like a dick.
And I was just like, where's that coming from? I don't get that. But you're right. I have to say, having done martial arts, okay, I didn't get a black belt, but I did get a brown belt, which is one before black, right? And I'm looking at some of the moves that guys dropping. I was like, boy, that's some class you went to, man. That's one hell of a martial arts class, man.
Maybe they just teach it different in America.
Yeah, I guess so, man. Wow.
Yeah.
But no, I just yeah. But my
And also, when did these people sleep, man?
yeah.
And he's meant to be running like a multinational media conglomerate. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yes, that was thinking it. He's like my boy's hardly at work.
None of them are at work. It's like, how come? What's his name? Support dude made the costume. Forgot his name now.
Oh,
how come he ain't? How come he ain't been sacked from the DEO? Because every time he turned around, he's away from his desk, and he suddenly turned up at Catco.
Yeah, my boy could do everything.
It's like, and do you know what? Don't people use like WhatsApp no more? They always got to go somewhere. Do you know what I mean? They can't just call someone.
As well, it's like what was I going to say? Do you know what? There's times, and I get it, and I think this is the problem. This is the problem sometimes. It's like every so often she's just chilling in her house like Supergirl, right? She's just chilling in her house with her friends. They're having like games night or something like that, and I'm like, hang on a minute, man. There's got to be some kind of volcano or something that needs capping, or do you know what I mean? Someone needs help in some, you know what I mean? Some rebel army needs stopping or something, and you're just there playing like Monopoly with your mates. Priorities.
Yeah, too much work made Jack sad boy, or whatever the rhyme goes.
Yeah, I suppose. But anyway,
got to chill out sometimes.
Yeah, fair G's. But
probably wouldn't choose Monopoly, but you know.
Here's my rant, right? Here's my rant.
Go on.
And this is across the board. I'm picking on CW because they have the majority of superhero shows. Yeah. But I could probably lump Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in there as well. But anyway. Stop keeping secrets. It don't work. It don't work. Or if you're gonna keep secrets, do it properly. Do you know what I mean? Because it's nonsense.
But also, I think my big problem is it's just rinse and repeat for all of them. It's rinse and repeat of the season before. We've had angst about keeping secrets. We've done that Arrow. We've done that 5 years on the trot.
Yeah.
But then you've got the whole blaming yourself thing that comes out again.
But the thing is,
for goodness sake.
But the thing with the secrets thing, though, it's like on Flash. So it's kind of like, right, so the whole... Where are you on Flash now?
Where am I on Flash? Jesse Quick has come back. We've done Grodd.
Okay, so you know the whole thing is he's got 6 months to save Iris thing or whatever the hell he's in the future. So first off, you don't tell no one that's happening. Then he has to tell them all that they've got to find a way to save her.
And then they don't tell her dad.
Right, yeah, and then literally the next thing they do is, no, what about Joe? He should know. No, he can't handle it. He couldn't handle it. Remember when he thought I was going to die or whatever? He couldn't handle it. Let's not tell him. Right. Because that's worked out so well for you all in the past, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like if you do die and it turns out everyone knew, how's that going to be any better?
Yeah. But I think as well, if you're going to train people, then train them, right? And use them, utilize them, right? What is all this nonsense, right? What is the point of having a team if every 5 minutes you're going to turn around and go, no, you stay here. This is something I've got to do on my own.
Oh, man.
What? Look, the first time back in the day we'd have problems, the first thing you do is you get on the phone to your boys, go, look, we've got a rumble down, we've got to go. You know what I mean? I was like, I've got your back, all right, I'll be there, I'll meet you down there. You don't turn around and go, no, those 20 skidders, there's something I've got to handle on my own, guys. It's ridiculous. What is the point?
Yeah, no, I don't get it. I was like, do you know what? Maybe part of the problem is the seasons are too long, so they're just trying to find plot points all the time that's unnecessary. The seasons are too long. Cut them in half.
Which is why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which it's a nice segue because I'm watching it. It's now come back from its little hiatus, and I'm sort of 2 episodes into their new sort of season. And what I'm calling is what they're doing is what I would like to say is they're basically doing televised trades. Boom.
Okay.
Just going to leave that there.
What do you mean by that?
So, the first trade was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider. So, you had that trade.
Okay.
They had told that story. Then, the second trade was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. LMDs. Yeah, life model decoys. Which if you know your Marvel, you know what I'm talking about. But what they did, which is what most trades do, the story was still relatively self-contained, but elements from the Ghost Rider story fed into that second televised trade. Get what I mean?
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And now we're in the third trade, which is called Agents of Hydra. And I can't say anything about that without spoiling it. In some ways, even the name kind of gave something away.
Yeah, it does really.
But you need to know how it gets there, and I think that's quite interesting. And even that, which I thought was the one that I thought, yeah, I've seen this done 100 times before, it's going to be a bit... 2 episodes in, and I'm like, this is actually pretty good. And I genuinely believe that model should be applied across the board to all them superhero shows. Just give me free trades. Because the good thing as well is we're not getting these ridiculous little 2-week breaks here, there, and everywhere as well.
Yeah.
I would much rather wait a month and then get that third trade and get all my episodes in one go than like Arrow's on another little break and there's a break here and a break there.
Cool. So there we are. You let us know what you think. I don't know if this episode is meant to be quite so ranty, but let us know what you think of our superhero rantiness.
Before you round us up, I just want to give a quick shout out and an apology. So last week I gave a shout out to Steve, whose name actually wasn't Steve, who I'd met at the 2000 AD Con and who I'd chatted with for some time, and he bought me a drink and stuff, and his name actually wasn't Steve. But I owned up to that in the last episode.
Good work.
I did say I wasn't sure if that was his name, and he has, and Mark, which is actually his name, has corrected me on the comments on our website. So he actually said, "Hi guys, Mark here, aka Steven. Just listened to this podcast, really enjoyed it as always, was really excited when I realised Barry was about to name check me, then epic fail, who the hell is Steven? Barry only had one glass of cider and couldn't remember my name. Seriously though, I had a great time at the 2008 Con and chatting with Barry. Hopefully catch up at future events. Keep up the good work, Mark." So Mark, this is my official apology for getting your name wrong. I reckon his middle name might be Steven. So, yeah.
Possibly that's his nickname. Who knows?
Yeah, it will be from now on.
Yeah.
So, Mark, aka Steve. Sorry, mate.
Genius. All right, so till next time, you know the drill, people. You can check us out at geeksyndicate.co.uk. You can send us an email at thegeeks at geeksyndicate.co.uk. You can check us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Pinterest, on Instagram. We're all over the place. So until next time, Geek Syndicate, we out.